For this standard, students need to be able to add and subtract fractions with unlike denominators using related fractions, such as halves, fourths, and eighths, or thirds, sixths, and twelfths, or fifths, tenths, and hundredths. We will be solving an addition problem using the area model, meaning we draw rectangular representations for the fractions. For the first problem, 1 2/3 plus 2 1/6, we will begin by drawing mixed numbers. For the mixed number 1 2/3, the first hole is completely shaded in, and the second hole is subdivided into 3 parts, and then 2 of those parts are shaded in. For the mixed number 2 1/6, the first 2 holes are shaded in, and the third hole is divided into 6 parts, and then 1 part is shaded in. Each fraction is represented in its own rectangular area model. In order to add these fractions, students need to find common denominators by subdividing one or both of the fractions. It's not required that they find the least common denominator. To solve this problem, students will need to subdivide each of the thirds into 2 parts. That mixed number is now divided into 6 parts, with 4 of them being shaded in, so the new equivalent fraction is 1 4/6. The fraction 2 1/6 does not need to be subdivided because the denominators of each of these fractions are now the same. I can now represent my fractional parts on the same fraction because they have an equivalent denominator. As I've moved my 1/6 over to join my 4/6, I can see that 1 2/3 plus 2 1/6 is equal to 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1 2/3 plus 2 1/6 is equal to 3 5/6. For the second problem, we will be solving 1 3/4 plus 1 1/2 by drawing each mixed number. Now we need to determine a way to subdivide these fractions so they have a common denominator. It's important to note that there is not a need to find the least common denominator when using pictorial models and can actually be inefficient. The easiest way for students to determine a common denominator in a problem like this is to overlay the 2 fractions on top of each other, creating a grid on each fraction with the new common denominator. Each section of the fraction 1 3/4 is subdivided into 2 parts, creating a new equivalent fraction of 1 6/8. Each section of 1 1/2 is subdivided into 4 parts, creating a new equivalent fraction of 1 4/8. I can now combine my fractions together in order to determine what 1 3/4 plus 1 1/2 is equivalent to. I have now moved 2 of my fractional parts from over here to fill in this hole. That leaves me with 1, 2, 3 holes and 1, 2 out of 8. So 1 3/4 plus 1 1/2 is 3 2/8.